The changes resulted in forcing many Orthodox Jewish men to serve in the army, and since then it has also became very hard for Orthodox women to avoid the draft. Those who refuse to enlist out of religious convictions are incarcerated for weeks and sometimes months under brutal conditions. This should never happen. Those who peacefully protest those policies face harsh punishment as well. Currently, a father of 7, Rabbi Shmuel Zalman Weisfish, is incarcerated for peacefully protesting the draft. He was denied bail and being held until the completion of his trial, which can take many months, for his sin of speaking out. And this is, the international body should hear, a gross violation of his right to freedom of speech. Let us be very clear. Serving in the army violates the religious convictions of Orthodox Jews, holding true to our religion as it was practiced for millennia. Why? Because the Israeli army is an irreligious entity, and it's impossible for Orthodox Jews to fully practice their religion in the army. Then we cannot serve in the army because the Torah prohibits us from creating a state before the coming of Messiah. We cannot serve in the army because the Torah prohibits us to wage war against any sovereign nation, and therefore, for all these reasons, we cannot and will not serve in the Israeli army, even if we are forced to. We will not give in on our religious principles. The conscription of Orthodox Jews violates Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, passed by the wonderful body, the General Assembly, on December 10, 1948, which states, I quote, "Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Forcing religious Jews to enlist the military against their religious convictions and conscience goes against Resolution 1989/59, passed by this wonderful body, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights, on March 8, 1988, which states, and I quote, recognizes the right of everyone. Everyone means also our brethren in Israel, to have conscious objections to military services as a legitimate exercise of the right of freedom of thought, conscience, and religion as laid down in Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, unquote. The current Israeli policies of oppressing peaceful protests against the conscription of Orthodox Jews violate the most fundamental right according to each human being on the earth: the freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. Shame on you for doing that! Shame on you! 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 Hence, We, the masses, came out today to protest the Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu during his attendance of the General Assembly for his government's persecution of religious Jews objecting to the draft. We are here to decry and demonstrate against this government's harsh and brutal tactics to silence peaceful protesters. Mr. Netanyahu, before preaching values and principles to others, think about your own government, what your own government does to our citizens, our Jewish brethren, and this should not happen. Dear assembled, let's think for a minute about 7 innocent children of Rabbi Weisfish who are waiting for their dear father to come home for weeks, and now they are told that he might languish in prison for many months. And why? Because he for exercising his freedom of assembly and speaking against the draft. Bibi, release him now! Bibi, release him now! 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 Our young boys and occasionally girls have to choose and make a difficult decision between violating their religion by enlisting in the army or languish in prison. Bibi, stop this evil policy now! Stop this evil policy now! Stop that evil policy now! Stop that evil policy now! Stop that evil policy! Families are traumatized by military police raids during their sleep, searching for their children and or siblings, hiding in order to avoid an enlistment. Bibi, this has to stop now. It's inhuman. This has to stop now. 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 Our plea to the international body, to the distinguished members of the United Nations is as follows. If Israel won't stop, we appeal to the world's nations, to the United Nations and its Commission on Human Rights to hold Israel accountable and demand that Israel adheres to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by allowing our brethren to avoid military services and practice our religion freely. We conclude with a prayer to Hashem. He shall fulfill the prophecy of the Nuvi Yeshaya, which are inscribed on the wall outside the world body. V'chisi charvoisam leitim, v'achnisosayim lavazmairois, lo yisu goy el goy cherev, v'lo yilmedi oid milchumu. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.